I want to return now briefly to touch. We talked about this way back in First Impressions, but it is important. I mean, I was just at an event, I think 2 weeks ago. I met someone that I've known. We didn't necessarily have a bad first meeting, but it wasn't really a lot of connection. I was like, this person isn't that interesting, even though they're pretty famous. And in the second interaction that we had, the guy put his hand on my shoulder and sort of gave it a massage. I said, man, how you doing, bud? And instantly, I felt my opinion of him shift. And I went, God, you know, I know this stuff, how it works, but it does, because it was so warm and friendly. Despite his first impression, that won it over. The question is, when and how, what does a touch that is good look like? I want to dive a little bit more deeply. First off, a touch is not a tap. This is not the kind of touch. If he went, hey, man, really good to see you. How you doing? I've just been like startled, right? A lot of times we're nervous to touch and we just tap people. That is actually more startling than resting. The other thing is, where can you touch? All right, well, generally speaking, shoulder, like the farther away from someone's torso, usually the better. So I'm not talking about their toes, but you can certainly shake someone's hand. If you're grabbing their attention, you can get them on the shoulder. If they are sitting, the knee is usually okay. Once you slide up the thigh, now we're moving into the danger zone. But those sorts of areas are comfortable, and especially between men, at least in the United States, I would say getting comfortable with the shoulders and the back as like a pat and a hug, very, very useful for bonding. For women, I don't necessarily encourage men do those kinds of touches, but women can certainly, with men, keep it farther, you know, to hands, to the wrists right here, shoulder to say hi. If you let anything linger, this is particularly a problem for women, it can be misinterpreted as you hitting on them. And I know that is sometimes a problem, that men overread into these things. Just make sure that you are either uniformly doing these types of things with women and men, and potentially excluding the people from it that you know are going to read too much into it. But I will say touch is important. So returning back to the point, first off, it's not a tap. Second off, we do it in these kinds of areas. And third, we want to keep it, if it's not a tap, for about a second or two. So it's, hey man, good to see you, how you doing? And then it comes off. Or it's, you know, a 1-2 handshake, good to see you, and then off. That's good. Beyond that, it becomes lingering. People don't know what to think about it. It can be a really weird long handshake, or they're going, this person has a crush on me. Any of that kind of stuff is going to not move you in the direction that you want to go with your touching.